Good morning, everyone. We're live from Houston, Texas. This is Monday, October 29th, and show number 121. I'm so excited that my voice is back to normal. I don't know what I got into up there in New Mexico. I think it was allergies, but man, it stuck in my sinuses for a long time. So I'm really glad that I can't hear myself in my ears as much as I could last week. So good morning, everyone. It's good to see you. Hope you had a really good weekend. Everything was fine here. Just as a little note, I wanted to say that if you are one that flies an American flag, that until Wednesday, we're flying the flags at half staff because of what happened in Pittsburgh over the weekend. So please fly your flags at half staff. I can't because my flag holder got bent in one of the storms. So I just don't put my flag out if I can't fly at half staff. So until Wednesday, please fly at half staff. Lots of people in the chat room before the show started. Let's see, Captain Cindet, Captain Diana, a couple Captains, Michelle. It's good to see all of you. Captain Sandra. Who did I miss? I think there's somebody else here. If I missed you, I apologize. All the Michelles are here today. Sandra, okay. Good, well, good morning, everyone. Remember, if this is your first time at Captain Housekeeper, please subscribe to the Captain Housekeeper YouTube channel. Ring the alert bell so you will be alerted when I go live. That's Tamaya. And if you're enjoying these videos, as always, please give them a thumbs up on your way out. I appreciate it very much. Good morning, Captain Kristen. Jumping into a meeting. Have a great podcast. Well, I'm so glad you jumped in to say hi. It's always good to see you, Captain Kristen. So, as you can imagine, the weekend was spent, unpacking boxes. As you can see, that's Tamaya. Isn't she sweet? Tamaya, say hi to everyone. Oh, there she is. Oh, there's a good girl. She's like, why'd you wake me up? So, and as I suspected, as I've gone through the boxes, they are about a quarter full. So it's a lot of paper. It's a lot of this packing paper. But just a few books or a few knickknacks in each one. Because I'm sure they wanted them to be packed so they wouldn't get hurt. So that's actually my only priority. I'm keeping the house running. I'm doing my attack plan in the morning before the show starts. So I'm getting all my daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly chores done. This morning I also ran to the grocery store because as soon as I'm done with the show each day, I want to attack unpacking these boxes. So I'm going to, hopefully, the thing is, this is the thing. Let me tell you the thing, is unless these boxes get unpacked and unless all the furniture gets back in place, I can't really have a Christmas tree or decorate for the holidays or anything because there's no place. You know, I sorted all the boxes and put them in the rooms where they're going to be unpacked because that was logical, right? At least in my little mind. Now there's no place to put a tree, there's no place to decorate, there's no place to have Christmas dinner. So if I'm going to have Thanksgiving or Christmas in my house, I better get moving. So that's become my number one priority, is getting all these boxes unpacked as quickly as possible because the holidays are coming. Let's see if any... Captain Diana says, do you have a fireplace? You could use those as kindling. Yeah, that's a really good idea, Captain Diana. This paper is untreated, I believe, so it'd be really good. You can twist it up into real tight knots, like little, so they look like little logs. And those work really well as kindling. I do have a fireplace. It's also 80 degrees out on October 29th. So, unless I want to turn the air conditioner way down, which I don't, the fireplace won't get fired up probably until closer to the end of the year. That's when it really gets cold. Usually, maybe we'll have a cold year. Hope so. And Diana says you have to have Christmas. I agree. Oh, and Captain Diana has an outdoor pit, perfect for burning extra packing materials. Yeah, I live in the city, so I actually have a fire pit, but it's real small. You got to be careful when I go around burning. They'll call the fire department, the neighbors, because they're just right across the fence there. So if their little kids throw toys over the fence, they may end up in a fire. There's nothing I can do. A third of those toys I showed you on Instagram ended up in the pool. I had to fish them out before the dogs got to them. They have pretty good arms for 3.5-year-olds. It's a tall fence, and to get it all the way over and into the pool, good for them. Oh, Captain Sandra, it's hot there in Mississippi too. I bet it is. Captain Diana asks, have the kids thrown any more toys back to you? Well, let me tell you, I was texting their daddy. Because he texted me and he said, I think my kids threw a ball into your yard, so just whenever, throw it back over. I was like, okay. And I knew it was a little bit more than that, but I didn't say anything until I collected all the toys. And I had them on the table outdoors. I took a picture. And I sent them to him, and I just said, do you think that's all of them? Because maybe he could recognize that, I don't know, there was something missing from their toy collection that potentially was, because I don't want the dogs to get them and tear it up, right? So he texted back, they are in so much trouble. Apparently what happened was he was cooking dinner, and the place where the fence, where they could throw it over the fence, is actually behind their garage. And so they had gone behind the garage where he couldn't see them. So he didn't even know this was happening. And then they went back indoors and said, we threw a ball over the fence. Not half their toy box, which is apparently what actually happened. So I don't think they'll be throwing any toys soon until they forget that they got in trouble for this time. I hope they didn't get in too much trouble, because they were just using their arms, and I'm sure it was hilarious. They're just little kids, right? It's not like broke any windows or anything. And honestly, I've thrown balls into their yard accidentally. More than, like, multiple times I've had to text their daddy and say, Tamaya's favorite ball is in your yard. Can you throw it back over? So I'm guilty too, and I'm not 3.5 years old. Captain Diana says, so the bunt pan must have been a sandbox toy. I think so, yeah, because it was only about that big. It was real tiny. I'm an enabler. Yes, I am, Michelle. I enable as much fun as possible. So I have to get my boxes unpacked, or I'm not going to have the holidays. However, what I am going to do, and I encourage you all to do, if you haven't done it yet, now is a really, really good time to get your ovens cleaned. So if you have a self-cleaning oven, run it according to your manufacturer's instructions. If you don't have a self-cleaning oven, just get in there with whatever your favorite oven cleaning supplies are, and get them cleaned out, because it really is coming up on baking and cooking season. And there's nothing worse than, well, there's a lot of things worse, but it's no fun when you go to bake something and it's like, oh, dang it, I wish the oven were clean first. So I encourage you, and I have to do it too. I have 2 ovens. I only use the second oven at the holidays. Otherwise, it's just storage for my cookie sheets. But the top oven's pretty filthy right now. So I need to get in there and get that cleaned, like today or tomorrow. I have a self-cleaning, thank goodness, so all I have to do is just set it and forget it. Then when it's done, I just have to wipe it out. But what I found even with the self-cleaning is I do have to use a little more elbow grease on the front window if I want that perfectly clean. It doesn't seem to come as clean as I'd like it. So that's what I have ahead of me to get ready for the holidays. See, I'm keeping a positive attitude, even though my whole house looks like that right now. It's just boxes and boxes, and you can't even get to the dining room table or anything, which is driving Captain Housekeeper a little bit insane right now. This has been going on since April. I will not miss the holidays. Hey, Captain Chris is here. Good morning, Captain Chris. I finally did it. I spatchcocked a chicken. It was great. Good for you, Captain Chris. Wasn't it so easy to spatchcock a chicken? Spatchcocking is so much fun. I think it's just such, and coming up with the holidays, I can't emphasize enough, spatchcock your turkey. You won't regret it. It is so delicious. You know how with turkeys, they're so big, right? So there's all these different tricks to get your, the breast meat moist, but the dark meat's completely cooked, right? Because cooking a big bird like that, it's hard to get it all cooked at the same time and have it all be juicy. But if you spatchcock the turkey, all the turkey is the same thickness, and it all cooks at the same rate. So you cook it faster. I think last year's turkey was like an hour and 15 minutes. and it came out so juicy and so delicious. So if you want to know how to spatchcock things, I have a tutorial on my blog. So if you just click on the link to my website in the show description, I believe it's the most recent thing I posted, but just look up under recipes. It's called Spatchcock 101, and I show you how to spatchcock your chicken, your turkey, your pheasant, depending on how fancy you are. Captain Diana says, I'm going to have to see if I can buy one already spatchcocked. You know, you can ask your butcher to do it for you. I know that for a fact. And I saw them at Whole Foods, which is kind of pricey. They did have spatchcocked chickens there too. But it's super duper easy to do. So if you have something sharp and you're confident with that sharp utensil, you can spatchcock it yourself. It only takes a few seconds. Oh, Captain Sandra, you use oven liners too. Somebody else must have said that. Oven liners are really, really good for when things drip. Unfortunately, I do a lot of cooking. This is my problem, is I do a lot of cooking where I'll start it on the stove in a cast iron pan and then transfer it to the oven for 10 minutes on really super hot. And so I tend to splatter the inside of my whole oven. My oven gets a good workout when I use it. So that's really what needs to be baked off by the self-cleaning oven. But yeah, oven liners are fantastic for any drips. I usually, if I put anything on the rack, I always put it on top of a cookie sheet anyway. So, because who wants things dripping and then it burns and it smells and bleh. Captain Michelle said, I'm not allowed to use sharp instruments. Well, then get your butcher to do it. That sounds like we could have a whole show just about that, Captain Michelle. Oh, Captain Diana's not allowed to touch knives. Who are you people? You can't touch knives. No, that's fine. I actually have kitchen scissors, like Captain Chris just said. I have kitchen shears that I got from Costco, and they just cut right through the bones. Does a good job. But the thing is no matter who cuts the backbone out of your chicken, the bones are sharp. So just use some caution just with those areas. My sister Deborah, after I taught her how to spatchcock a turkey, she actually went one step further and she boned the thighs and the legs. So she took the bones out of the thighs and the legs and then cooked it, and then she could just carve that meat without the bones in it. It's making my mouth water. She said it came out fantastic. So if you want to go one step further and get the bone, if you're doing a turkey, get the bone out of the thigh and the leg, totally worth the effort. You know, for Christmas when you're chopping it up. You know what I did for Thanksgiving, because I did a turkey, is, you know, you kind of want to elevate the bird a little bit, right? So sometimes you put them on those silicone rack thingies, or in my Spatchcock 101, I did like little red potatoes cut in half to create like a surface to put it on. But for Thanksgiving, what I did is I took a couple big bags of Hawaiian bread stuffing mix, which is the dried cubes, and I put those all over, and then I put some herbs and some fruit, and it's just all these wonderful things, you know, fall things like sage and all that, rosemary. And then I put the turkey on top of that, and as the turkey cooked, all those drippings went into the stuffing, and it was unbelievably delicious. So yeah, a good sharp knife works really well, Captain Chris. Sharp shears work well too. The best cooking shears I've seen, and I haven't been able to get a pair, is they should be completely metal and all one piece. The cooking shears I have from Costco have plastic handles. They all seem to, and those don't feel quite as sure, you know, as confident as the metal ones. But I'll get some metal ones eventually. Captain Dinah says, I found that if you cook on a cookie sheet, the heat doesn't distribute evenly and it cooks funny. That's interesting. I never noticed that, Diana, but maybe I've had issues and I could never figure out what they were. That's really good to know, because it makes sense if you think about it. If you put it on the rack, you know, it's just little thin bars, so the heat would distribute evenly. Thank you for that tip, Captain Diana. I'm going to have to pay closer attention. Oh, and you're up in a higher elevation, so that might have something to do with it. Captain Michelle's not a turkey fan. You know, I wasn't either, honestly. I was not a turkey fan. until I started spatchcocking them. Because it cooks fast, it browns it beautifully, and every piece is so juicy and flavorful that it really takes your turkey to the next level. So I encourage it. Spatchcocking it's life. Plus the word's fun to say. The very first time I tried it, I remember I was watching the Barefoot Contessa, Ina Garten, years ago. And she was going to do a chicken over the grill. And her whole point is when you try to grill a chicken, especially because the heat source is so intense, unlike an oven, it's like really intense underneath, right? She said it was very important that you get all the meat the same thickness. And so she showed how to cut the backbone out and crack the breastbone and make it flat. And then what she showed was cut lemons in half and grill those too, because grilled lemon is so delicious. And I did it outdoors, and it was by the pool, and we had some friends over. You ever cook something and it's so delicious, you can't stop saying, "Oh my God, I'm such a good cook." It was pretty foolproof though. And that's the whole point of it, is if you spatchcock your chicken or your turkey, it's pretty foolproof. So I was just like, oh my God, this is so good. I wasn't bragging. I was just absolutely amazed at how easy and delicious it came. It was the best chicken I had ever had. So anyway. Yes, Captain Diana, I did it for company the first time. That's a cardinal rule. I actually really am very, very strict about that normally, but I figured it was just a chicken on the grill. It could either be raw or it could be blackened. You never know, right? But yeah, I don't like to try new recipes. I never try a new recipe, especially like at the holidays, unless I've tried it a few times just to make sure I've worked all the kinks out. Because every single recipe, has quirks to it, Captain Michelle says round propane infrared cookers work well. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you. Thank you for that tip. Today for dinner, I'm going to be making kielbasa with sauerkraut and put that on a layer of mashed potatoes. And I'm going to be making the mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot for the first time. I'm not having company, Captain Diana. But I've never tried mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot yet. So this is kind of a test to see if it's something I'll want to do at the holidays. Mashed potatoes, if you don't know this, they're one of the things you can make a day before your meal. So you can make your mashed potatoes the day before and put them in the refrigerator, and then put them back in to reheat them like in a nonstick pan and mash them up with a little bit extra cream and butter, and they taste just fresh. So I'm going to test the Instant Pot today to see how mashed potatoes come out. I'm pretty confident everything in the Instant Pot comes out pretty good. But what I'm hoping is faster and less heat generating, because mashed potatoes, you're boiling that big pot of water, takes up a place on the stove, and it gets the house so hot. So hopefully this will work really well. Stay tuned, I'll tell you tomorrow. Oh, Captain Krista says, what time? Well, dinner time. If you show up on my doorstep at dinner time, I'm going to feed you more food than you can eat. That's the way it is at Captain Housekeeper's house. So keep that in mind, Captain Chris. Captain Sandra says, I love kielbasa, but prefer onion and sweet peppers. I think I have some sweet peppers in the garden still. Did you see I picked a tangerine yesterday? Oh my gosh. I put a picture of it on Instagram. I know I say that 10 times a day, but that's where all my photos go. So I got this little tangerine this spring because I had an empty pot. And I've always wanted a fruit tree. And if you put citrus trees, I don't know, I'm not an expert, but I was told if you put citrus trees in a pot, it'll automatically make them dwarf. They won't grow any bigger than the pot will let them, right? So I had a pot about this, it was fairly big, but not giant. And so I put this citrusy tree in it. And oh my gosh, it got covered in blooms this spring. Attracted all these bees, which was wonderful. And then it set all this fruit, and it's been just kind of slowly developing. since the spring, because what is it? It's the end of October already, right? I've never had a citrus tree, so I don't know how this works. I started to worry about it. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know. Maybe they stopped ripening because they got pretty big, but stayed green the whole time. And now the tree is just dripping. There are 20 more tangerines, bright orange on it. The tree's like, oh, it's so heavy. So I picked one yesterday to try it out, and it was so delicious. It peeled really easily. I think that it's called a Satsuma tangerine, I think is what they said it was called. And those are the ones that are easy to peel. So what I'm hoping is that I can incorporate some tangerines into my Thanksgiving meal. So if they keep ripening, because some of them aren't quite ready, and they ripen in time for Thanksgiving, would that be fun to put fresh picked tangerines from the garden? And my bananas, some people have been asking about my banana to see how it's doing. It's still green. Banana takes a long time to ripen. I only got one stalk of them this year for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Because I figured if one tree put them out, maybe the others would. Because I have a whole grove of bananas. But one stalk has, I think, 5 bunches of bananas on that same stalk. So hopefully those will ripen up in time to make banana bread. Because I like to make banana bread at the holidays. Oh, Tamaya's got, oh my goodness. Oh. And that's her exercise for the morning. She's such a good doggy. She slept with me a lot last night. It was sweet. So also what I have to do, oh, the show's just going on and on. I have so much to do now that it's fall, now that the heat's over. I need to go out and get more yard work done. I started the fall yard work, which if you live in the South, in the Gulf Coast, your big job is keeping the plants from taking over. You have, it's like a jungle, and things grow too much here. You know, in other parts of the country, you know, your big job is to keep everything watered, or to keep things alive, or whatever. But here it's a jungle-like atmosphere. Like out this window, I'm looking right there. There was an old ancient wisteria plant when I first moved in, and it was dying and it was rotting and there were insects in it. It was still a little bit alive. Pretty. I mean, I love those wisteria, those like purple blossoms. I think the French have them a lot on their arbors. Well, I dug that thing out 10 years ago. Literally, because it needed to go. It just was, and it decided to come back. All its roots lay dormant for 10 years, and it came back with a vengeance this year, and it's like going through the fence and like splitting the fence, the not the posts, but the boards, because it got through the cracks of the boards and grew and got fatter. So, I mean, that whole area there needs to be, oh my gosh, there's so much work, because once I get all the wisteria out of there, I got to figure out how to dig it out. And then how to fix the fence, because it's wrecking the fence. So here in Houston, everything is just, it's like Planet of the Apes. It's like, oh look, there's that grill I forgot we had underneath this wisteria vine that took it over. So I have to get out there and do that too, because this is the time to do it. Unfortunately, it's 80 degrees again today, so it's too hot. So I'm going to work on boxes this morning, because I want to have holidays. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining me today. It was so good to see you. Please give the show a thumbs up. I'm so happy to see all of you here. And thank you for joining in the live chat. That's always so much fun for me. And tomorrow, I will be back here at the same time, 11 a.m. Central in the USA. And then I have a very special lunch date that I'm going to. So I'm very excited about that tomorrow. So the show won't be shorter necessarily, but I am going to scoot out of here tomorrow to go to lunch. I'm going to a new restaurant that just opened. News at 11. Okay, Captain, who's here? All the captains, Michelle. There's like 6 of you here today. Just because you're in charge of your houses doesn't mean you have to do everything, especially if today's your day off. Enjoy it. Automate and delegate whenever possible. I'm begging you. Say it with me, everyone. No matter what life throws at me, I have the ability to make this a fantastic day. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye-bye.